why they're here. I think the underlying point that's really important for all of us to remember. Those people who are here because they're dedicated to preserving agriculture in this area. The folks over here nodding their heads up and down. That's why we're doing this. But stay with us. We're going to try and look up the history of people around the and here's
the Oregon Military Museum up in Happy Valley up in Clackamas County, Oregon. Look at some of our vehicles here. This is our 1918 Liberty truck. Started with a lot of parts missing, and we managed to replace just about everything that was originally on the thing now. And it runs. That's because we don't want to have to push it.
Did this truck actually see any wartime? Did this truck actually see any?
No, most surviving military vehicles have no combat history because they get over there and they get used up and they don't come back. This one was made early enough that it could have gone over, but we don't think it did.
Let's take a quick walk around before we get rained on.
Too late.
So are these all diesel vehicles?
No, actually most U.S. Army vehicles in the World War II period were gasoline powered. The Russians, the Germans, the British all use diesel because they're not so flammable. Okay.
Pretend like that's me.
Yeah, okay. But it's not until after World War II that we start seeing diesel in American vehicles. The Marine Corps used diesel during World War II, but the Army was pretty much all gasoline. The value of that was that you only had one fuel.
Remember when we got this thing all installed? I know you've been the head sawyer.
This is
about how long have you been the head sawyer?
It's getting kind of weird. This is something with the Vietnam era. M274 mechanical mule. It goes about 25 miles an hour. Its carrying capacity is 130 pounds more than it weighs itself, so you can actually put one on it and haul it off. The driver has to get out, though. You can just walk with it. Another vehicle over here, the M3A1 Stuart tank, light tank of the early World War II period. The U.S. Army used them to some extent. The British used them. We call it the General Stuart tank, but the British called it the Honey.
Why was it called the General Stuart tank, and why was it called the Honey?
It was a tradition to name tanks after Army generals from the past, like the General Sherman from the Civil War, General Stuart from the other side of the Civil War. The British had a horrible run of luck with unreliable tanks. They got this thing, and they put an experienced driver in this thing, and it says, "Sergeant, throw a track." And he couldn't do it. He ran the thing all over the desert, could not make a track come off. Then he comes cruising back and says, "Sir, it's a Honey," and it's stuck.
You had a bunch of 16-foot long green switch ties and pack them out by yourself.
You understand what hard work is.
Okay. I'm getting at things I don't know very much about.
Or a clue as to what it's like to work until you've done something like that, let me tell you. Now it looks like it's getting ready to fire the mill up here just a little bit. Now exactly what are they doing here right now?
He's just warming the engine up, rolling it over slow to get the steam temperature in there so that you're not putting a lot of steam to a cold engine. And we'll do that with each of the 4 engines.
I got a call once from the museum curator 31 years ago asking if I knew how to make decals. I said, "No, but what do you want? What do you want to do?" And he wanted to make decal placards for an aircraft instrument panel, so I proceeded to make the decals. And then I made the mistake of asking if there's something else he's doing, and I've been there ever since.
This is not your typical minivan operation.
Anyway,
And this has been a new experience for me because I grew up fond of
This
gas.
vehicle here.
Yeah, the half-track. Yeah, they're. I've driven one of those.
More labor intensive.
The steering is a little stiff on these things.
And, they basically
you have to start thinking and start making your turn as soon as possible because the tracks want to keep going straight ahead.
A lot of hard work.
Does the steering work like a tank?
No. On the German tanks, the steering wheel would actually cause a braking action on one of the tracks to help it turn because their tracks were longer on theirs. Ours is just a track unit with a differential unit in it, so it's all just the front tire steering it. So you got to keep those on the ground and keep thinking about where you want to go and plan ahead.
Gentlemen that are working here.
There's no last-minute ability to do that.
The gentleman that's our chief engineer on the main engine has got a hand on the throttle that
this is
you just got to experience it.
50s, 60s vintage M37. Basically, it's a light truck. Of course, the Jeep over here is also considered to be a truck. Quarter ton. A lot of guys, they like to personalize these things with a particular, combat unit. The 8 stands for 8th Air Force. 44th Bomb Group was a B-24 group in England. They were called the 8 Balls. You can see part of it like the 506. That's 506 Bomb Squadron. Now this thing.
Yeah, tell us about that thing.
This is the M18 Hellcat. Allegedly, it'll go about 56 miles an hour on tracks. You want to be real careful. It's like running on roller skates. High velocity, 76 millimeter gun. The way these things are used when the German heavy tanks in particular show up, these things would be back in reserve. Then you got to call it as a Tiger to be dealt with. This thing could come, try to sneak up behind them and catch them unawares because you don't have much armor on these things. It's very thin. Keep it light so you can run real fast. Take one shot and run for your life. The armored personnel carrier, I think it's an M75 if memory serves.
How many people can fit in that?
That I don't know. I would guess at least the crew and probably at least 8 men for a squad.
Do they have the doors open on the back?
Yeah, you have a door in the back to get in and out.
And how many people are in the crew?
Probably a driver and a commander, maybe a radio operator. Probably at least 3. And then
What kind of engine is driving that thing?
that I don't know. It's not one of ours.
Is the engine in the back or the front?
Yeah, it's in the back.
Somewhere in there. Yeah, I'm not sure. And, like I say, we don't have one of those.
I've seen these on duck tours.
Yeah. The duck is one of these accidents of military history. DUKW is telling you it was made in 1944. It's amphibious. It has 6 wheels and it's all-wheel drive. That's what those letters actually come out to. So if it made in another year, it would have been something else. D just happens to be for 1942. The fun part about the duck is when the Army adopted the thing, well, now you have to properly test the thing. So what they did was they took it out in the Atlantic Ocean to make sure it was really seaworthy. And there was a sailboat that got caught on a sandbar. And the Coast Guard couldn't get to them. And they called the Army. This thing, when it came to a sandbar, it just drove over the sandbar. You didn't get stuck on it. Just drive over the sandbar, paddle along, and it got the people and rescued them. So it was a very successful sea trial, shall we call it. Complete with a live rescue.
Now, I'm seeing some tools on the front. Can you walk me through some of that?
Now, the long thing over on the side is that's a hand bilge pump. It has a mechanical one, but if that breaks down, you start taking water, you're going to have some means of getting water out of the thing. I've been in one that was actively sinking once. The little plate here that's actually, if you're going into the water off an LST ship, you put that thing up, it catches any water comes up so it doesn't splash directly onto the driver. Every little bit helps. It doesn't look like it is actually a very seaworthy vehicle. It could really handle, other than the fact it wasn't very fast, but it could get in, get out. And one of the real values in the thing is bringing in supplies instead of bringing them in a landing craft and dumping the ammo and stuff on the sand. It could keep on going to a better place for an ammo or supply dump. And years ago, we actually talked to a guy who was a duck driver at Normandy, talking about that bilge pump. Well, a German shell hit the thing and knocked a hole in it. He's taking water, and he makes his supply run, comes back and says, "I need another duck. This one's got a hole in it. It's full of water." He says, "You got a bilge pump?" They beat the peeled sheet metal back together, bit a little tack weld, and send him back with his bilge pump running all the time. And here we have a. Let's see. This is an M38A1, I believe. This one also has got military markings for the 366. Yeah. 366 Tactical Fighter Wing, and of course Da Nang was where they were based at some point. Has a little device on the front. This is a wire cutter. The original purpose, it goes back to World War II. The Germans were swinging piano wire across the road, and it would either kill you or severely injure you if you hit that wire like here on the neck. Later on, it served another purpose where they had wire-guided missiles. That's a thin wire. It could be draped all over bushes and everything else. So they put the wire cutters on those vehicles in case they ran into their own guidance wires. You can see there's another mechanical mule there.
Let's go over to the howitzers over here.
Oh, the gun?
Yeah. At the aircraft,
yeah,
right?
This is, yeah. Yeah. This is a quad 50. Has 4 caliber 50 machine guns. That's the proper description of the weapon, by the way. These things were intended as an anti-aircraft unit. Fairly effective, other than the fact that the airplane you're shooting at would be shooting you at the same time. And if you shot it down, it would probably crash right in your immediate neighborhood. It was also used in a pinch. It was also used against enemy troops. There was a gentleman here yesterday. It was in Korea. They were overrun by North Korean infantry. And they burned up all their ammo and burned up the barrels before they abandoned the guns. So they were no use to the enemy. It's an interesting little thing. Very cramped inside of the thing. I've been in there and I thought I was never going to get back out again. The foot room in there is really tight. It has small feet.
So when you've been talking about your experiences of being on board the dock, were you serving at the time, or was it part of the history?
That's just in restoring these things and running around.
So the one that was actively sinking, where was it? The lake, or
what, the dock?
Yeah.
Various rivers, and where I've been out on things in the Willamette and the Columbia. We set off one time. We ran into a fog bank. Now this is nervous, you know. Come out of the fog. We're heading for a boat ramp on the Washington side. We come out of the fog. We were pointed directly at the boat ramp. And we're very happy to see it. Anyway, I think
My father was Normandy about 14 days after. He said the airplanes were still filling the entire sky 14 days after coming in. That was like how massive that invasion. And he said that the guys were diving on the ducks and grabbing the compasses to get the wood grain alcohol out of there.
Oh, yeah. There's
Pretty
a,
desperate time.
yeah, there's a lot of that kind of stuff. You know, they use the same, they use drinkable alcohol in torpedoes. They call it jungle juice.
Yeah.
So that probably not a good idea.
Now they made an artificial harbor out of the
Yeah.
ducks.
Yeah. Yeah, it worked fairly well on the, I think, on the British area. Ours, it didn't work so well. And the storm came in. They actually took a bunch of merchant ships and sank them to make a breakwater.
That's what my dad was on.
Yeah. They finally got military recognition for them too.
Yes.
I mean, they were paid more than the Navy sailors, but then you had to get home alive to collect your paycheck. Always remember that, you know. Anyway, anything else you want to do? Yeah. Yeah. Huh? Okay. Thank you.
But it's really good to see this. And I'd encourage everyone to stop by today while you're here and just get a look at the black stuff. Thank you so much for talking with us.
This is a pretty neat truck. This thing is going on a big military convoy. This is a pretty neat thing. This one's going on a military convoy. This is a guy.
You got the radiator shot out or whatever, then you could just keep right on. At least for a while, you can keep on trucking and keep on trucking.
Well, good morning, everyone. Our last day of 4 days here. Very, very happy to have been invited over the last 3 years to get the footage.
For those of you who are just joining us, coming through the first gate, man, have we got a bunch of stuff going on today. We've been doing some interviews. Here. I got one of the guys here with me from the truck camp. I got to tell you, going 50 miles an hour before the warning. Yeah, let's think about that.
Yeah, I just wanted to go to the back over here and look at the back of this Yeah, that's the back here. So this personnel area. Driver from there. Yeah. Look at the back of the duck. Not much to look at. I don't know how, I guess that's how you get up there.
we have here is a Dodge from 1942. It's a WT-53. This was built to be an ambulance. No company still values these vehicles for that. And some are even used as local vehicles. This is the ones you see in a lot of movies when they're carrying people off the battlefield. Very well preserved piece of our military history. Okay, the folks that own these, great passion. We have another young vehicle. This is again an M35A2, 1971 model. Terry is there on it. This is a half-ton 6x6. Again, Vietnam era. Dodge M37. This has not been restored. About the Korean War vintage, used as a cargo truck, and it's powered by the good old dependable flathead 6-cylinder engine, 4-speed transmission. It's pretty bulletproof. See. Now, one of the things that's interesting to notice is that half-round also was done. They were the flathead 6. Of course, when you're focused on the car, Alright, we are looking. This is also a little utility truck. We have a number on that. It got away from us. But this is like the one that came in just a little bit ago. You can see some of the things that it was used for. Everything from carrying jerry cans on up to carrying wood. This little guy here, you know Minneapolis Poly is our tractor. Well, Minneapolis